Hello friends, welcome to your own channel on artificial intelligence and machine learning. We are learning SQL programming. SQL is one of the most important skill that a data scientist, a machine learning expert should have. And in SQL, one of the important things that a data scientist would frequently require is to execute select queries. Quite often, we would get data from a database and we have to fetch data from the database table. This is where our knowledge of select query would be useful. This part of the session would be focused on DML queries, specifically select queries. Let's get jump started. When we talk about a select query, the structure of a select query is something like this. Select. Typically we put a star. However, instead of star, we can specifically give column names, column 1, column 2, whatever column names you want. Sometimes we may use aggregation functions, sum, count, average. Then we have to specify the table from which we are going to select the data from. Table name. If there is some filter criteria, in that case, we have to specify the where condition, where the condition. In case you are using some aggregation function with some dimension, some column, then you have to specify group by, and the dimension column 1, column 2. Moreover, if you want to apply certain filter on the aggregated value, you apply having condition, having, and then a condition would come on a aggregated value. Typically you use condition over there. Finally, you want to see the data in a sorted form, you can specify the order by clause. All these are optional. What you need to remember is, in case your query has where, group by, having, order by, in that case these clauses will come in this sequence only. You cannot write a query where you say where, order by, having, group by. You just cannot change their position. It is possible that in a given query you don't have the where condition. You don't want to apply a where condition. It's okay. In a given query you probably don't have a group by. Even that is okay. If you don't have group by, then having condition also would not come. You can have a query select star from table name, order by a specific column. You can write the syntax. But in case your query has where, group by, having, all of these, in that case the order has to be maintained. This is very important. Okay, having understood the basics, let's go ahead execute some queries on the tables that we have created. These tables has been created as part of our previous video sessions. So in case you have not watched those, then I request you to watch those videos and create the table structure. As we move forward, we will definitely learn subqueries. We will learn common table expressions. We will learn joins. But let's start simple. Select star from students. Students table we already have. So this is the data. In case I have a table which has got millions of records, if I run select star from students, millions of records will come in front of my screen. I just want to observe a couple of records. In that case, we can use limit. Limit will restrict the number of records that are shown to you. The objective of using limit quite often is we just want to quickly see the table structure and see some sample data points. Okay. If I want to see the data but not the top two records of the table, for example, I want to see the record which is 103, 104. In that case, I can say offset 2, which means I don't want the first two records. And then I want to start from the third record. And here I say limit 3, so I'll get 3 records. So let's run this query. So this is the usage of offset. Basic functionalities, limit, offset. Okay. So far, so good, very easy. Select star from batches. This is the data. Note, in our previous session, we did lots of update, delete. I have truncated all the tables and repopulated the values in these tables. Okay. So this is the sample data in front of my screen. I want to specifically use some columns of this table. So far we have been always writing select star, but I don't want all of these columns. I want only course ID, batch ID, start date, end date. Instead of putting star, you can specify the columns and run the query. Only those columns will be selected. I want to apply a condition. I want all those records where the course ID is 1002, where condition. Select star from batches where course ID is equal to 1002. There are 4 records in our table. So those records have been selected. I want the record where end date is null. This query, is not going to work. We have already spoken about it because you cannot compare null with equal to. In case you have to apply a condition where you are checking whether it is null, you have to say is null. Repeatedly, I'm taking this example because many people keep making this mistake despite having explained this for the third time. I have observed in my career of 22 years, people repeatedly do this mistake of comparing null with the equal to sign. This is the right syntax, is null. Okay. Multiple conditions. I want all those records where course ID is 1002 and end date is null. This is how you write multiple conditions, and typically if you are writing such a long query, I would suggest you should write it like this. Select star and then from. This makes the query neat and self-understandable. Select star from batches where the condition, here we are giving a AND condition. I can click this run button to execute the query. It says execute the selected portion of the script, or I can use the shortcut Shift plus Control plus Enter, and that's what I keep using when I'm executing my queries. Okay, there is one record where course ID is 1002 and end date is null. Here we had AND condition. Now we are going to have OR condition. I'm going to run both of these syntaxes together. Okay. And please pay attention to formatting of your queries. This is the good practice. Select star, then from goes on the next line, where goes on the next line. Okay. I'm going to run both of these together now. So here there are two outputs. And here you can see the first output, we had an AND condition. The record which is selected satisfies both the condition. Course ID is 1002 and date is null. And in the second query, we have 4 records which have been shown in the output. And here if you note, the first record does not meet the course. The first record meet the course ID condition, that is 1003. It does not meet the end date condition. The second record meets the end date condition but does not meet the course ID condition. Okay, or clause. Any one of the condition is satisfied, the record should be selected. With the AND clause and condition, both the condition should satisfy, only then the record will be selected. I'm sure you are very much aware of truth table. If not, I'll just quickly explain a truth table. And a truth table, the condition 1 is true and condition 2 is true. The output is true, which means you have to select that. And for all other conditions, the output will be, the condition will resolve to false. This should be false here. Whereas the truth table, this is called truth table. True or false will be true. True or true will be true. False or false will be false. And false or true will be true. Okay. This is what a truth table says, and that's why we get different outputs. Okay. Here I am putting a condition, this or this or this. 3 or conditions is what I am putting. Select star from batches where course ID is 1002 or course ID is 1008 or course ID is 1003. So here I am putting 3 conditions on one column course ID. If this is what you have to do, then the better approach is, instead of putting 3 conditions like that, you should use in condition, where you say course ID in 1002 or 1003 or 1008. Same output. Once again, let's run these two queries together and see the output. 7 rows selected, 7 rows selected. Both of them gives you the same output. So when you have these multiple OR conditions applied on a same column, instead of using this kind of a query, you should go with a in condition. Okay, let's move forward. Opposite of in, there is a not in. I want to select all those records from batches table where course ID is not in these 3 values. And you can see this condition is very self-explanatory. Okay, this type of syntax is very self-explanatory. Let's move forward. The above query, if it is not in, you could have written with a AND condition like this. This makes the query quite complicated. I'm sure you can see that this is very easily understandable, whereas this query is not understandable. However, the output of both of them will be same. You can see the output says both 8 records returned. Okay, let's move forward. practice exercise. Select all records where delivery mode is online. So here you can see in the output we have something called delivery mode as one of the column. You have to select all records where the delivery mode is online. Second is you have to select all records where delivery mode is online or offline. So this is the practice exercise. Pause the video, write the queries. Okay, I hope you would have completed these practice exercise. Let us see the solution. For the first query, for the first practice exercise, the query is this one. And the second one, we are using in because it was a or condition, delivery mode online or offline. And we already saw using in is a better approach. This should be the query. We have seen the where clause. Now let's see the usage of group by. When do we use group by? We use group by when we want some summary output. What are the basic summary functions? Before we get into any of these summary functions, let's understand the most commonly used summary functions. The most common summary functions are sum. For example, there is a column saying sales, sale amount, or any amount. Okay, so sum of sales amount column. Then there is a summary function count. I want to know how many customers are there. So count star, it will give count of number of records. I want to know what is the average ticket price. There is a many transactions where you have the transaction amount of each transaction. I want to know what is the average. In that case, we have a function called average. Then I would like to know what was the max value of any given transaction. Out of all the transaction, what was the max? So you have a max function. And similarly, you have a min. These are the 5 summary functions which are very frequently used. Okay, so let's go ahead and use these summary functions. First is select star from batches. When I run this select star from batches, it shows me 15 rows are returned. How many rows are there? If the question is asked, how many records are there in the batches table? Select count star from batches. There are 15 records in the batches table. Okay. Instead of putting star, I can put anything here, any value, 1, 2, 3, 4 also. And this is one of the most commonly used approach also. Many people, instead of putting star, many people tend to put a numeric value 1 and then run the query. There's no difference between these two queries. Both of them will give the same count. As such, feel free to use the star approach or feel free to use this approach. In many of my queries, I tend to use this approach. It's your own style of writing the syntax, but both of them are same. Don't worry about it. Okay, let's once again see the batches table. Now in this batches table, you can see the course ID 1002, 1002, 1002. It is repeating. I want to know how many distinct course ID values are there. I don't want to count 1002 each time it appears. There are 4 times the value 1002 is appearing. I don't want to count it 4 times. I want to just consider it as one occurrence. In that case, this query will change, and here we use the distinct keyword. So here, if I run the query, let me put both of them together, count 1 and count distinct course ID. Because we are having two columns, let us give an alias. So far we have not been giving an alias to these columns as CNT records. What will this alias do? As CNT distinct course IDs. Okay. When you run this query from better practice, you will see the column names comes as count records and count distinct IDs. And the same query, if we would have executed without giving this alias, the function name would have come. So giving alias is a better approach of writing the SQL syntaxes. Okay, so please follow these best practices as I am teaching. I'm also giving you tips on best practices to be followed. Okay, if I want to know what are the distinct course IDs which are present in the batches table, I run this syntax. It will give me all the distinct course IDs. Now I want to know how many times the course ID 1001 is coming in the batches table. What is the frequency of occurrence of course ID 1002? In that case, the syntax would become something like this. Select course ID count star from batches group by course ID. It shows you 1001 is occurring 2 times, 1002 is occurring 4 times. So we get to know the frequency of occurrence of each course ID. Please note the difference between the two syntaxes. Let's move this syntax and have it here parallel so we can have both the syntaxes seen together. I'm comparing the two syntaxes. One is this one and second is this one. This syntax gave us count of records. This syntax gave us how many distinct course IDs are present. This part of the syntax gave me what are the distinct course ID numbers. And this syntax gives me each course ID and what is the frequency of occurrence. Now here in this query, I'm now introducing two jargons. Course ID is called dimension and count is called as measure. I repeat the two jargons. If you have not got it, let me also type those words. Dimensions and measures. What are dimensions? For example, I want to know as a company my total sales. I want to know total sales. Sale typically has a unit, has a currency, and that is rupees. In India context, it can be dollar, it can be hash, depending on pound, depending upon the country and so forth. So point is, sales is a numeric value which can be added, where you can do sum, you can do average. That is a measure. Something that you can measure is called a measure. How many liters of fuel did you fill in your car? The amount of fuel you filled in your car, you can measure in liters. Okay, so that becomes a measure. What is the length of the room? Something that you can measure is a measure. Now I want to know total sales. In this case, select some sales amount from, there's some table, say sales table. This will give me the total sales at the organization level. But if I say I want to know the sale by geography, by region, the moment I want to know sales by region, my query has to change and it has to become something like this. Select region, comma, some sales amount from sales table, whatever is the table name, group by region, group by. What you are saying is I am looking at the sales value by region. I'm looking it through the perspective of region. Region in this case becomes dimension. Whatever is the dimension, dimension is the perspective, the lens through which you are trying to look at the measure. So when you write a select query and where you have an aggregation and a group by, you need to be very clear what is the dimension and what measure you are trying to calculate. Dimensions should typically be put before any measure comes up. Okay, so this syntax, I hope you understand the concept of a dimension and a measure. So here course ID is the dimension and here count is the measure, and as a best practice you should give an alias. So we say as count, and when we run this query we get the output for each course. What is the frequency of occurrence? Let's move forward. The output here, you have got 1001 having frequency of 2, 100 have frequency of 4. The data is not in a sorted order. If I want the data to come in a sorted order, I can put a order by clause. Here there is a count which I have given alias, so I can use this alias in order by and run the query. This time my data is come in a sorted order. It shows that the course ID 1002 has the highest frequency and the course ID is 10010 985. These have the lowest frequency. Instead of using this descending, if I don't use it or I write ascending, if I don't use this descending word, it's ascending. The data comes in a ascending format. Explicitly, I can use the word ascending. But typically, you would be interested in the highest frequency. You would want to know, in this case, you would like to know the region where you have the highest sales. So what you will do, you would put order by, and here some you have given. If you don't give any alias, just in case you don't give alias, you have to use the function again here. Okay, and you need to say descending semicolon. Ending the query with a semicolon is a best practice. Always ensure. Okay, quick practice exercise. Now I would like to have the above summary, this summary, only for those batches which are online. Pause the video, write the query. Okay, I hope you would have solved it. So this syntax, the change would be select course ID count star as count from batches delivery mode. So note here the where condition. And this is the output. I have already mentioned that you cannot just jumble up these conditions. You cannot have the code written. The moment you write a wrong code, MySQL Workbench is giving you alert. Hey, this is a wrong syntax. Okay. So please ensure you know the order in which these clauses, where, group by, and order by, having these clauses are going to come. So we have learned where, group by, order by. Okay. Now I want to put a filter. I want data of only those courses where the count is more than 1. What it means? First, you have to aggregate the data, apply a aggregation function count, and on that aggregated count, apply a condition. When you apply a condition on an aggregated value, you cannot use the where condition. Where condition is used to apply filters on the actual column of the table. If you have to apply filter on an aggregated value, you have to use having clause. So if I have to now put a filter where the count of occurrence is more than 1, I'll have to say something like this. Having. Typically in having, the alias does not work. So I'll have to write the query something like this. We can try running the query with the alias, but many of the database don't allow to use alias in the query. Let's just see whether MySQL allows it. Okay, MySQL allows you to use the alias. So this is the query. Select from, where, group by, having, order by. Let me delete this and run the earlier query once again. Great. These are queries we have already done. Now, this is a variation, different style of writing group by. Okay, so here what we are doing is we are saying select course ID count from batches group by course ID. This course ID is the first column. So the approach of writing the query can be replace the course ID column by its position in the query. So here you can see course ID is the first column. So we replace it by 1 in the group by syntax. And this query will give the same output as you got by the previous query in line number 151 to 153. Okay, let's move forward. We have already seen order by. Practice exercise. Write a query to get batch count by delivery mode. Pause the video, write the query. Okay, I hope by now you would have written the query. The query would be select delivery mode count star from batches, and I wanted count by delivery mode group by. The having clause will not come. The query will only be this much. So online, offline, self-paced. And if I apply the having condition, you already know that when we apply a having condition, we apply having on the aggregated column value. This is the output. This is the syntax where we have all the clauses, where, group by, having, order by, we are considering these courses, course ID in 1002 and 1003. First, let me have this having clause removed. So here I have value 3, 2, and 1, and I now introduce the having condition greater than 1. All these are examples just to reiterate that how we use the having condition. Okay. Order by, course ID, count, descending. You can have order by multiple columns. Okay. Let's just quickly execute this query and see the output. The data is ordered by course ID. And here you see there are two dimensions, course ID and the delivery mode. Because there are two dimensions, you have to put them both in the group by. It is not necessary that you should have all of them in the order by. Okay. And then we are saying order by course ID and count. So first level of sorting will be by course ID, and within course ID the second level sorting will be based on count. So here the output, which is the second one, 1002 online 2, because we said count is descending, this has come up, and then the second record self-paced 1, and then there is one more record of 1002 where we have the value 1. So you can observe this course ID 1002 is occurring 3 times because course ID delivery mode combination is different. 1002 online, self-paced, and offline. These are 3 combinations. I hope you got this point. Important summary functions. We already discussed about important summary functions, right? Sum, average, count, max, min. So here we are going to run the summary functions on student batch mapper, and for that we require one of the field which is fees paid amount. What is the fees that has been paid? So here we'll take select batch ID, count. For a given batch ID, how many students are there? I'll get through this count fees field. What is the total fees paid for a given batch ID? So here, if I can see a batch ID 201, 202, yeah, 204 batch ID seems to be repeating, 204, 208, 207, 201. So some of the batch IDs are repeating, right? How many students have enrolled? I'll get through count. What is the total fees that has been paid? I'll get through sum. If I want to know what is the average fees per student that has been collected so far, we will get through average. What is the max and min from? Now here you need to put cancelled equals to 0 is a condition. We don't require those observations where cancellation has happened. So that's why cancelled equal to 0. And because you have a dimension batch ID, group by has to come. This is a quick example to show the various summary functions. Okay. The applications, you would realize these applications would be when you do aggregations from a business standpoint, where you want, for example, the dimension is sales and the measure is sales and the dimension is region. Typically you have dimensions like product, geography, region is part of geography, time, I want the sales by month. Okay, channel, the channel through which you are getting business, online channel, offline channel, physical brick and mortar store. Okay, customer segment. So these are some of the important dimension any business has, and we see the measures through these dimensions. And when we see the measures, we would like to know sum, count, average, min, max, and so forth. Those are the 5 important summary functions. Here in these example, they may not probably make that much sense, but to show the usage, I have put these examples. Order by Multi-level sorting is all what we have done. Having clause is what we have used. We can do filtering based on the wildcard usage. For example, I have select star from trainer, and here we have trainers having various skills: Python, SQL, Tableau, Power BI, and so forth. I want all the trainers who have the Python skill. Here you see the Python word is first. Here you see the Python word is in between. So I want trainers having the Python skill. This is where we use the wildcard. Percentage here means anything, any text can appear before Python, any text can appear after Python. A small practice exercise: get all trainers whose name has the alphabet A. Okay. So we require all trainers whose name has the alphabet A. What would be your query? Pause the video, write the query. I hope you have written the query. Okay, let me have the query. Yeah. Select stars from trainer where trainer name like percentage A percentage. So here David, all of these names has, even Aditya has this A and small case. If we would have made this syntax with capital A, let's see what would have happened. We get the same output. The reason why we get this same output is because this query is running in a case insensitive mode. Okay. There are ways to make the query case sensitive. For now, I'm not going to touch upon that aspect. Okay. I'm inserting one more record in trainer table, and here I intentionally make a mistake in the Python spelling. Instead of Python, I'm writing Pyron. T is replaced by H wrongly. Now I want all trainers who have the Python skill, but here R is misspelled. Now there are special wildcards. Percentage means any character, anything can come before it, anything can come after it. Now here only for one character underscore is used. Underscore means that at this point you can have any character. This will make sense only when you are using the like condition. Okay, so underscore here means there can be one character which can be anything, and if you run this query you get all the trainers where they have Python skill along with this misspelled Python word. I hope you understood the usage of this wildcard underscore. We can again use dimension, gender, and find out count how many of them are male trainers, how many of them are female trainers. And because we have this spelling mistake, let me have this as underscore. 3 males, 3 females. Okay. Important thing. Null, if there is null in a column, what is the effect of it? Okay. Let's see the data. Select star from student batch mapper. Now here I am having this refund column which has many nulls. I am writing count star and count refund amount. If we run this query, you see in count star we got 13 values, whereas in refund count we only have 3 records. Reason being, when you count, if a given column has null, null does not get counted. Null values are not counted in the count. As such, the count has come only 3. Let us see the data. Select star from this table where refund amount is not null. There are 3 records where refund amount is not null. That's why the count of this came 3. This query, here we are doing a count which will give overall count. Here we are doing a count which will do count of refund amount, and we know the value will come 3. We are doing sum, and now I am doing average of the refund amount, and here I am doing sum divided by count, and here count of refund amount, and here sum and count of star. When you do average calculation, the average will take all the rows where the refund amount is populated, and we know there are 3 records. So it will do summation of these 3 values and divide it by number of records where the refund amount is there, that is 3. So the average of this will be 10,000 plus 10,000 plus 5,000, 25,000 divided by 3. The average function would ignore the records where it is null. Just like the count function ignored it, the average function also ignores it. This output will match with this syntax. It is not going to match with this syntax. The objective of this query is to help you understand the impact of null when doing aggregation. When you are doing aggregation using a count function, average function, sum function, the null records are not considered in the summation, in the count, and when it is average, it is not considered in the denominator also. You can see this, understand the output of the query. This average amount 833 is matching with this average amount 833. So you need to be very clear the effect of null when you are running aggregation queries. Okay, these are all done. Practice exercise. From student table, get the count by gender and average age of students where date of birth. Whenever you specify date of birth condition, you need to put the information date in YYY format and order the data by count. This is a small practice exercise. I leave it for you. With this, we complete basic select queries. And as part of the basic select queries, we have learned the following aspects. Select from, where condition, group by, having condition, order by. We understand here we get dimensions. And here when we do select and you use some aggregate function, these are the 5 important summarization functions. Okay. Having condition you apply on aggregated value. Typically that's where you should be using it. It is not that you cannot use on the original columns having condition, but if you have to filter on an original column, then you put the condition here. Order by, you can do order by ascending, descending. All of this we have learned. What are we going to learn in our upcoming session? In our upcoming session, we will learn about subqueries and common table expression. I hope you're enjoying the SQL sessions with me. Thank you. And just in case you have not subscribed to the channel, I humbly request you to subscribe to the channel. If you like the videos, why not press the like button? Thank you. See you in the upcoming session. Till then, thank you. Bye bye.